So this is a time, we are in a time where, we have to realize that life is precious, and we have to stay safe and prayerful and grateful. And I'm very grateful for all of my blessings. And there are people who are in crisis right now. There are people who are struggling with illness, loneliness, people who are mourning, people who are dying. And so I'm hoping that the message that God is love and love is for everyone will resonate, and that the music will remind everyone that none of us are alone. Never knew my life could be this way. I never knew the sun could shine all day. Never thought I'd live beyond my past until I found Jesus. I never thought I'd be in this place. Oh, I'm glad, so glad I'm living my life in this place. Ooh, I never knew my heart would feel again. You see, I was so hurt, never knew the pain, let me stand. Never thought the tears would go away. Never thought my tears would go away. Until I found you, Jesus. I never thought I'd be right here in this place. Oh, I'm so glad. Yes, I am. I'm living my life. Oh, Lord. There's a place in God where we can all be free. A place where God can get the best out of me. There's a secret place in God where He covers me. I am so glad. Yes, I am. I'm living my life. Yes, I'm so glad. I'm living my life in this place. Oh, been a lot of places, seen a lot of faith, but I've never been in this place. Time and time, I never thought I would. Oh, Lord, been a lot of places, seen a lot of people. Oh, Lord, been in this place time and time again. Never thought I'd win. I've been around the world, seen a lot of people, but I never thought I'd be here. I am amazed that I'm in this place. I never thought I would be here. In the arms of Jesus, it's a good place to be in, y'all. Yes, it is. Time and time again, I never thought I would win. I'm happy to be in this place. To God be the glory for all He has done. I'm so glad to be in this place. My joy is right here. Yes, it is. My peace is right here. Oh, I'm living the best of my life in this place. Yes, I am. It's a good place to be in, y'all. I am so glad. I'm living a blessed life, y'all, in this place. Yes, I want the world to know. Yes, I'm glad I'm living my life in this place. It was the night of His birth. Heaven was satisfied that there would be peace on earth. All creation, every power, every life would call on His name. Children, love has arrived, and you know the world will never truly be the same. Sing, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He's my refuge. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He's my tower, my friend. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He came to my rescue, and I don't understand it, but I know the love He's given me will never end. There is joy in the world because my Savior reigns. He's the source of my strength, Lord of lords, King of kings, my salvation, my Redeemer. In the face of all I fear, He is love without compromise, and I know that He's the reason that I'm standing here. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. He's my Savior. He's my Savior. Jesus. Oh yeah. Jesus. He's my power. Jesus. My power. Jesus. My strength. Jesus. He's the source of my joy. I give Him all my devotion. Hey, 'cause I know that I will never be the same again. Jesus is the love of my life. He's my provider. He's my hope when I fall. Jesus is the love of my life. There when I need Him, when nobody else will call. He's right on time. Jesus is the love of my life. He gave me power, the faith to stand. Hey, Jesus is the love of my life. And I want to thank you, Lord, with my life, 'cause I know that I will never be alone again. I want to talk to you about Jesus. Jesus is the love of my life. He saved my life. Jesus. Jesus is the love of my life. When I couldn't stand up straight. Jesus. Jesus is the love of my life. Couldn't sing the songs I like to sing. Jesus. Jesus is the love. I want to talk to you. Jesus. About Jesus. Jesus. Jesus is the love of my life. He gave me a chance. Jesus. Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Jesus is the love of my life. If it wasn't for Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Jesus is the love of my life. I wouldn't be here today. Jesus. 'Cause I don't deserve it. Lord, I know that you're worthy. So I just ask. Just ask Jesus. And I keep on asking. Just ask Jesus. I know. Lord, I know you set me free. Jesus is the love of my life. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You can call on Jesus. You can call on Jesus. When you need a friend. Jesus. When your brother can't be found, you can call on Jesus. You don't know like I know. You can call on Jesus. Heavenly Father, I need. Hey, I want to welcome everybody to Sunday Evening Shout, Gospel Music in the Basement with Javon. Therese will be on a little bit later on. And just want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I pray that everybody is safe, home. You're never alone. I just wanted to remind everybody of that. And it is Easter, Resurrection Sunday, and a lot of people are accustomed to going to church. If on no other day of the year than on this day of the year. And I just want to say I'm not, like a religious person, but I do consider myself to be spiritual. And I am a Christian in as much as I believe in Jesus. I also believe that there are messages in the Bible. I think that one of the errors, if you will, of churches or religion is that some things are taken literally and other things are not. And I think that the Bible is supposed to be like a guidebook for us in our souls to remind us of how to be, how to behave, how to love, how to live, how to do the right thing. Um, I just wanted to, you know, at least on Easter, because I don't do it every week. I don't play gospel music, but I felt that people might need it. It's always good for my spirit, and so I wanted to share it with you all. And I'm not going to turn into Reverend Armstrong, but I did want to remind you all of some of the Bible verses that have to do specifically with the resurrection of Jesus. In John 11:25-26, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? And then in Mark 16:6, Don't be alarmed, he said. You are looking for Jesus the Nazarene who was crucified. He has risen. He is not here. See the place where they laid him. He is not here. He has risen. Remember how he told you while he was still with you in Galilee. The Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again. That's Luke 24:6-7. For we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so we believe that God will bring with Jesus those who have fallen asleep in him. That's 1 Thessalonians 4:14. Yeah. And this one is my favorite. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy, he has given us new birth into a living hope. See, for me, that's the key word, a living hope, the phrase. A living hope through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead. That's 1 Peter 1:3, right? So I I believe that through the whole story of the resurrection of Christ, that we find hope in that. Now, people say that Jesus is coming back again. That's a whole nother book and story. I believe that Jesus is here. And I believe also that it is merciful that we've been given hope in the resurrection, if that makes any sense. Just that the idea that someone loved us so much that they died so that we could live and that we might live in them again, that we might never die. And in some ways, I believe that that's true, in as much as we're experiencing so much loss, so much death, so much fear right now, so much crisis. The body, the spirit, the body is weak. Flesh is weak. We know that. Flesh will perish. But I believe the spirit lives on. And that's the hope that I have. That's the belief that I have. And in that way, we will never perish. That's what I believe. And for as long as we love and honor those that go before us, they will never perish either. And I pray for everybody who's mourning now. I lost my father about 9 months ago. It's the hardest thing in my life, the most heartbreaking thing that's ever happened to me. And I've had heartbreak before, but nothing like losing my father. And that was in July. And I look at what's going on now, and it's even more devastating to think that there are people losing loved ones and they're not able to give them the farewell that they would like to give them, the funeral, the burial that they would like to give them at this time. And my uncle, Philip Gage, I speak your name. To not be able to say goodbye. And I just learned of another friend, Martin Grays. I speak your name. That we're not able to have a funeral. It's heartbreaking. If we want to take a moment of silence to remember those who went before us. And then we will continue to praise the name Jesus and be grateful for the blessing of hope, the miracle of hope, even in such devastating times as this. We still hope. We're still grateful. We still have life. And as long as there's life, there's possibility. A moment of silence.
Lord, I stand in your presence, wanting you and needing you. And I am here and I surrender all of me, so I can see
your will is where I desire to be. Take all of me, oh, all that I am, and all that I do, I give it to you. Lord, it's for you. Just take my hand and I'll follow you. For all that I am and all that I do, it's for you. You are my soul. It's your love that keeps me strong. And you are the light in the darkness of my night.
I'm lost without you, broken without you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you.
You made life worth living. Your grace always keep giving. I'm lost without you, broken without you. Oh, how I need you. Oh, how I need you. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Have mercy.
searching for the truth, and now this whole world cries because it realizes there is none. Oh, there is none quite like you. There is nobody like you, Lord. The earth, the stars, the earth and the stars, they repeat these words so true. So true.
Life begins and life will end with you. Let me sing it. Life begins and life will end with you. When I die, what will they say about me? Will the work that I've done be enough to help someone when I die? Will I draw men's hearts to you at the setting of the sun? Wanna hear you say, well done, when I die. Done. I know he will make me whole. The Spirit and the bride say come. Yeah, Lord. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Good God Almighty. I've gone through the fire, and I've been through the flood. I've been broken into pieces, seen lightning flashing from above. But through it all, I remember that he loves me and he cares, and he'll never put more on me than I can bear. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah. Ooh, we Jesus. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've gone through the fire, and I've been through the flood. I've been broken. Yes, I have. Into pieces. Seen lightning flash from above. Through it all, I remember that the Lord loves me, and he told me that he cares, and he'll never put more on me than I. Oh yeah, yeah. No, he'll never put more on me. He'll never put more on me. Never put more on me. Help me say never. Never. Yeah. It's words that he wants. I believe it. yeah. According to the riches and glory, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah, 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 babe. You've been laying and do for a night, yo. But joy will come in the morning light, yeah, yeah. You can look to the hills, yeah. The good's coming to help, yes you can. With all you have, come from God, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm so glad, y'all. Good God Almighty. I'm so glad that He won't never. He picked me up and He turned me around and He placed my feet on the solid ground. He won't never put more on me. I don't have to worry. I don't have to fret.
Woo! You're listening to WJBR Internet Radio Sunday Evening Shout. Gospel music in the basement, Resurrection Sunday edition. And so I want to give a shout out to Debbie Turner. How you doing, Debbie? I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you join us, that you enjoy the show. I'm glad that you enjoy the fact that you can comment and that I can see your comments in live time. I don't have to wait until after the show to see, if anybody said anything. So please, if you're watching, if you're listening, feel free to comment. You can call in. The number to dial is 347-996-5394. I would ask if you are watching on YouTube to please subscribe to the YouTube channel and tell a friend. If you are watching via Facebook, please like the page and like the stream and share it. Share it, share it. The more people we get to watch, the better. The better, the better. I want to say hi to my hubby, Ron Struthers Potachar. Love you to pieces, sir, and I miss you. I did miss your call. I guess I don't, this phone, I don't get it. I don't even know how to check my voicemail for the most part, but I will actually be giving you a call since I know that you called me. I definitely want to call you back because I miss your lovely voice and your energy and your spirit. And I don't know how many weekends have gone by and we haven't had our movie date. What's up with that? No movies, no ribeyes and you know, come on man. They got to straighten this thing out. But I miss you, Ronnie. And Loretta. Hey, how you doing, darling? Mwah. So, I also just want to say that Therese may or may not be joining us. We'll see how that goes, and if she doesn't, we will keep her in prayer as we always do, and we'll just keep it going for right now. Play some more music because that is what's up. And you're right, Ronnie. Way too many weekends I've had to go without my Ronnie. Now, I'm gonna play this song, and then I want y'all to chime in and tell me what you thought about the Clark sisters movie. If you saw it, the biopic last night, or I know it was in rerun today. Very interesting story. Very interesting. So if you comment after the song, I will definitely talk about what my opinion was of the movie. If you choose not to, then we don't have to talk about that. We could just play music, which is really why what I wanted to do. So, But this is Dorinda Clark Cole. So yeah, let's check this out. And the song is called Bless This House. And I pray that your house is blessed as well.
Broken hearted, misused and abused. I've shed some tears of joy and pain. I've gone through the fire and the rain. See, I am facing trials that I've never been in, but I'm hanging on to every word you say. Here in the Bible that I read, I put my hope in you, trusting that you see me through, believing that faith is the only way. Lord, bless my house as I bless you. Lord, Lord, bless my house as I bless you. I don't know who I'm talking to out here, but there's somebody that is going through something right now in your house. And can I tell you that if you bless him, he'll bless your house. Listen to this. Here I stand with outstretched hands, crying out to you, Lord, for a divine refreshing. I'm empty, Lord, got nothing else to give. My faith in me I hear, I vow to stay in your will. I put my hope in you, trusting that you see me through, believing that faith is the only way. Lord, bless my house as I bless you. Every day of my life, bless my house as I bless you. For so many years now, I've been preaching and praying, telling the world about your goodness and your saving hand. I've seen you do miracles time and time again. So I'm reaching to your Father with outstretched hand. Lord, bless my house as I bless you. Lord, bless my house as I bless you. Come on, Jesus, bless my house. Somebody need a miracle. Come on, Jesus, I need you. Oh, somebody needs saving. Bless my house. Somebody need a way me. Bless my house. Yeah. Somebody got a situation they need you to handle, Jesus. I need you to bless it. I need you, Jesus. Hey, some of us got a child, need the tuition paid children that he's worried about. And I need you, Jesus, to bless my house. And bless my house. As I travel across the country, I need you to bless my house. I hear somebody out there saying, I need God in my house. Because the Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. He lets me rest in the meadow's grass, yeah, yeah. And he leads me beside the quiet stream. He restores my failing hand, yes. And he helps me to do what honors him the most. That's why I'm safe. That's why I'm safe. That's why I'm safe. Safe in his arms. When the storms, when the storms of life are raging, and the billows they roll, oh, they begin to roll, and I'm glad he shall hide me. I'm so glad, hide me. When the storms of life are raging and I can't find nowhere to go, God holds me, God keeps me safe. Say, I'm so glad, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Say, in his arms, in his loving arms, safe in his arms.
Couldn't seem to fall asleep. There was so much on my mind, searching for that peace, but the peace I could not find. So then I kneeled down to pray, help me please. And he said, you don't have to cry, 'cause I'll supply all your needs. As soon as I stop worrying, how the story ends. When I let go, and I let God, let him have, let God have his way. That's when things start happening. I start looking at back then. When I let go, when I let God, Let him have his way. There's so much going on. Sometimes I can't find my way. And oftentimes I struggle from day to day. I have to realize that it's not my battle. It's not my battle to fight. I have to know if I put it in your hands, everything will be alright. Soon as I stop worrying how the story ends, I can let go. I can let God have his way back when things start happening. Oh, when I let go, when I let God, let him have. Let go, let God, let go, and let God, let go, let God, oh, let go, and let God, let go, and let God. My brother, let go, and let God. My sister, you can't handle it, let God. Oh, let go, and let God. Let go, and let God. Oh, let go, and let God. He's the only one with the answers. Just let God. He can handle it all, yes he can. Let God, with tears in your eyes, just let God. He feels your pain, and he knows your heart. He knows your issues. He knows your struggles. So let go, and let God. Soon as I stop worrying, then and only then can I can let go. I can let go. Let him have his way. That's when everything will turn around. Yes, it will. When I stop looking at way back then, I can let go. I can let go. Oh, soon as.
Hey, Resi, how you doing, darling? Happy Resurrection Sunday to you and to everyone. And I am so glad that somebody's laughing.
Tell me about it.
Amen. Amen. Yes. So I want to again say happy Resurrection Sunday to all of those listening. Um, I know that our pastor, Kevin E. Taylor, has been watching and listening. And I think I didn't invite him on until after I started quoting scripture. Yeah. Um about the resurrection, but and I will just recap basically what I said, which was just my personal opinion, my humble opinion. I am not a theologian or anything like that. I'm not even a religious person, to be quite honest, but I do consider myself to be a Christian and a spiritual person. And basically, the bottom line is for me is that I believe that people tend to interpret have different interpretations of different scriptures. And for me, and I prefer to listen to different opinions and interpretations and then come up with what makes sense for myself, because I do believe that the Bible was divinely inspired. I do believe that it is the book of life, and it is the book that gives us a blueprint this is the way we should go. This is how to love, this is how to live, and how to treat one another, how to be kind. Um and I think, and I'm going to just keep it on the resurrection and a particular scripture, because I went through all the well, not all of the scriptures that talked about resurrection, but I spoke about um I mentioned most of them that led to this particular one in Peter. It's First Peter 1, I guess verse 3, right? Anyway, praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. In his great mercy, hold on to the word mercy, he has given us new birth into a living hope. Hold on to a living hope, right? Through the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, right? So when you, and I'm not going to go through all of those other scriptures that I read that talked about the resurrection, but it's merciful in my opinion. And for me, see, we find hope in the life and in the resurrection of Christ. And I believe that if you look around now, so many people, we continue to live because we have hope. Hope fuels us. It fuels our spirit. It gives us that possibility that there's another day. It's going to get better. That within itself, hope is merciful to me, to have that blessing of hope, because with hopelessness, why go on, right?
Right.
So I believe that within the resurrection of Christ, there's the hope that we will continue to live in him. Now, with with that, I'm going to say that I believe, and we all know that the flesh is weak, the flesh will die, right? So that's sense. That makes sense. We all know that to be fact.
Right.
But then anything beyond that is our personal belief, our spiritual beliefs. And for me, my spiritual belief is that the spirit lives on, the soul lives on, that sense of awareness, that that being, it continues. And for some, that being, that spirit lives on in Christ. And in some they believe they go to a place called heaven, and some believe other things. Some people believe there's nothing. I don't see any hope in that. But for me, I just see, I I believe that there is a continuation beyond this. And for me, that that hope that there is something, some form of existence, that my father is still with me, you know? That when I feel him, that's real for me, you know? That that hope, that belief,
Mhm.
that mercy is a blessing, is a
Mhm.
blessing. And I believe that through the story of the resurrection of the Christ, therein lies that hope, that merciful gift that we will go on. Does that make sense, Rez? Or am I just a crazy person?
No, no, you I think that you spoke very eloquently, and spiritual beliefs, religious beliefs are very, very, very personal thing, you know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I what I loved was that you started off every sentence. So, in your statement as your belief,
Absolutely.
because it's important, because you know religion and politics and children and all those things are really, really, really personal, and I often leave by saying the God of my understanding, of your understanding, because we all know that regardless to what you call them, it's still a belief greater than yourself, outside of yourself, a divine belief outside of yourself. So, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree with what you said, you know.
And Pastor Kevin said, in earth as it is in heaven.
Mm,
You know, how did I just lose your?
you lost something?
Oh, I thought I lost your voice there for a moment.
Oh, no, 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 I'm here. Let
Okay.
me let my dog out for a sec.
Yeah, yeah. Who let the dogs out? Rez let the dogs out. And so I just want to say this because everyone, you see us tonight, and we're doing gospel music, and that's a wonderful thing. And then guess what?
What?
Over the weekend we'll be doing some other kind of thing. And I may cuss a little, because I'm just human. And
Wonderfully made.
yes, and I might even be sexy next weekend, but without sexy Christians, there's no little Christians. I'm just saying. So, did you watch? I'm sure you had to have watched the Clark sisters biopic last night, because some of
I,
your friends produced this, right? So what did you think?
okay. First, I didn't get an opportunity to watch it yet last night, and I tried not to stay offline. I wouldn't see any of the comments. That's only because I was in prayer watch with some folk, and it ran over. Well, there's no run over. It just was.
Mm.
So, um, you know, it's interesting ushering or standing in the gap with someone who is transitioning. But I look forward to it. I know it's an amazing piece. Just the forces behind it. And I've heard everybody loved it, but I just definitely didn't want to see anything until I got a chance to check it out. I'll probably do that tonight. Just to kind of, yeah. But you saw it, and I'd
Yeah,
love to know your take on it.
I loved it.
Mm,
I loved it for a lot of reasons. I felt like it was an honest betrayal. Portrayal, not a betrayal. But I say that only because I have some issues around the religion,
okay.
right? So that's just me, and that's why I don't go to that church. But you know what Pastor Kevin also said?
Uh-uh.
He said you don't have to defend your faith. You actually cannot, because why can't I see? I can't see the rest of it. See how the devil try to work? It
Uh-uh.
is the God of your understanding, based
Mm.
on what you have been through and how you found God. And it is crazy great. Amen. Go right there. That's why I love this man.
What?
That's one of the many reasons I love this man. Um,
Well, there's so many, many reasons.
so many for
It's just array of.
you for reasons. Yes, Kevin E. Taylor.
Yeah,
Okay. If you
yeah.
don't know, you better find out. Okay.
Mm.
Look him up. Can I say I thought I know I'm digressing here, but can I say I thought it was mad cool that Elizabeth Withers looked us up before she decided to come on?
What?
Are you kidding
She
me?
was prepared. She was like, and about your nonprofit, and about you, and about and how,
Listen,
like, and she flipped the script. I was like, ooh, I felt so vulnerable.
but I loved it though. I loved it because it's like, you have to know like who's in the room, like what's happening. you know, like,
Yes, yes.
oh, you know what? I just want to take a quick second to say happy Easter to one of my original love bugs who is watching and shared that she has been watching the show. We go back like flapjacks and just one of my original pudding pops, Debbie Turner and Shaniqua Turner.
Okay.
Happy, happy, happy Easter to you both.
Happy Easter. Yes, I was kind of chatting with her a little bit, Debbie Turner. I didn't know that she was a friend of yours, but any friend of yours must be groovy. Must be groovy.
Yeah, she's a sweet pea, all growed up and everything.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so back to the Clark sisters. So
Okay.
just so that everybody understands why I'm looking to my right. So I have a lot of different things going on technologically. And
Okay.
to my right is my laptop, and that's where I'm looking at Therese, and that's where I'm reading Pastor Kevin's comments to my left. Okay. Now, in front of me is the DJ stuff where I have the music and as well as the comments hidden in the back that people are putting down. So
You
Omega,
see it in your glasses.
excuse me?
You see it in your glasses.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Omega says, "Thank you for fueling our soul. Peace, love, and grace to you." Right back at you. Omega is a wonderful woman of God. I have to say that. And hey, Shannon and Kim Bowman. I don't like to leave
Mhm.
anyone out. I like to let everybody know that we know that they're here. We appreciate them watching, and for that I am grateful. So yeah, um, the Clark sisters. So okay, so everybody kind of knows the story where their mother was the driving force. Um,
Mhm.
no disrespect at all when I say she was Jane Jackson. To the Jackson's father. Can't think of to Joe Jackson. She was Jane Jackson. She would be Jane. She didn't, like whip him and whatnot, but she was like, get that note, and I love that. Um, there was an honesty there. There was one moment that, and I don't want to spoil it for you, Rez, so I won't say specifically what it was.
No spoils. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Where okay, so go ahead.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's a moment, and anybody can chime in if I miss something, but where Dorinda is taking things pretty hard, which her mom had just died, her sister had a nervous breakdown, the group had trickled down to just three of the sisters when it started out with five, and she goes to a bridge and she's like, Lord, I can't, just help me. And then all of a sudden it's almost like I think they were trying to say God spoke to her or something, or maybe she had an epiphany. It wasn't really clear, but she went straight from Lord, I can't take this to, and the way it was done, I just feel like they could have fleshed that out a little bit more when she dropped to her knees and said, yes, Lord, yes, Lord. Now, giving yourself to God, that's a wonderful thing, but you know, I just would have liked to have seen that experience fleshed out a little bit more. You know,
Mm.
like they did a good job of when Twinkie was hesitant to go on stage back on stage with her sisters. They kind of fleshed that out where she was sitting there praying, and then she was like, mama help me, and then you saw like a flashback of her mother talking and saying, hey, you are this, you could do this, and you could, whatever, her mother encouraging her, and you can feel like, okay, that's what got her up.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like there's a way to do that.
Yeah, some of it is probably editing, and other parts of it are probably, it's really difficult putting a show together because you film so much and then you have to squeeze it into somebody's, biopic in that little time frame that you have, and it's very different. Different. I'm sorry, the background Betty stepped in for a second. It's very different getting it all together and deciding what pieces you want more or less of, for the sake of telling a story, but I get it. I get it. Like I always push the networks to do it in parts. That way you can,
You can get more in there. You can get
Right.
more in there.
You guys on the radio?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know you don't have any pants on?
Now we know.
Can I say hi?
Please say hello, Monifa. You are hysterical, but
neither does Devon. She just
look, ain't nobody down here to wrap me up.
Hey, why are you in here in the dark? They can't see you. Beautiful.
But Mo,
this is her way of checking on me, and I'm fine.
I was coming to get your bow, but you're not finished. She made some amazing.
This is brunch in the basement, so I can have brunch.
No, I know, but no, I'm just saying. I thought you would have been finished by now, but you're on, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. All right. No. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Monifa. Listen.
Hi, Jay.
I call her buckets, right, for a reason.
I was looking at her.
I'll let her explain it to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye, love.
Bye. All right. Thanks for y'all, but I love her.
Special appearance by background Betty. We love her. Yo. Oh man, that reminds me. We gotta get it together, Resi. We gotta get it together. we got love her. But yeah, put your pants on or just stay seated.
I have on shorts.
We have digressed so far from this Sunday evening shout. I try to keep it. Anyway, you were saying?
No, I was just saying for the purpose of, hey, Ron, for the purpose of putting everything together in the short time frame that you have, you give more of some, less of some, and again, pushing the network to kind of do it in parts can spell it out. Like they did the New Edition story. I thought that they did a good job at covering a lot of the pieces. And I think BET did that one where they had it in parts,
Right.
It's impossible to put somebody's entire situation. I'm just happy that they did it, because it was certainly deserving of that. The Clark sisters, they gospel queens, and they needed to be represented in a way that honored them,
Exactly. Debbie, if you could just put your comment again, because I don't see your comment about the Clark sisters. So I would love to know what you thought. So please just type it up again, and I will definitely read it. Also, I just find it so interesting about the men in the church. How, oh my God! But I had heard the story before. I saw their unsung, so they spoke about how the church really admonished the mother on the Grammys and kind of tried to sit her down for that. And you're supposed to, the gospel, you're supposed to spread the word. What better platform to give any message than at the Grammys?
Well, I got my mixed reviews. For those of you who know me, I have a lot of mixed reviews and feelings on the behavior of the tabernacle, but understand, I've reduced it to it being people, and the government of the church. It sometimes it can get a little overwhelming depending on the church you go to. I am absolutely grateful that is not in my chosen church family. Um, but everywhere you go, you have situations, that, may or may not lend themselves to, well, that distract you from the main event, let's just say. And these are people that do, they're people. So there was it's funny because when I think back to, now hearing this about the Clark sisters and their mom, and, and I remember Tremaine Hawkins also went through something like that too. Um, and it's unfortunate, because you would think that the church would be a place where you could come and be supported and spread, like you said, spread the gospel. But they have their particular opinions on what's holy, and ain't none of them
Right.
supposed
No,
to be about man upstairs. But people confuse their presence with the main event. Yeah. So.
yeah, yeah. And what they didn't, I mean, they did flesh out what happened with the sister Denise Clark, and how that went, but
Mm.
they didn't mention, and I don't know if it's true. Obviously, I wasn't there, so who knows if it was true or not. But I understand that she was impregnated by a bishop, but they didn't talk about that. So it's that I would have liked to have seen fleshed out. It's not like she got pregnant by herself, is all I'm saying. And if it was a man of the cloth, I think that would have been relevant to the story, because the story kind of talked about the church
Mm.
and the men in the church. I would have liked to have seen, although, because I was about to say, and a lot of times our black men in some movies are portrayed to be negative, in a negative light, and you don't see any positive.
Mm. Okay.
However, you did see at least one representation of a good husband in, I believe it was Karen's husband. You know what I mean? So, and a lot of time, and it's understandable, black men get upset when they see these poor representations of themselves in these movies, and that's a subject for a whole other day.
Mhm.
Again, you're listening to WJBR Internet Radio, Sunday Evening Shout in the Basement with Javon and Therese. Please, if you are watching via YouTube, share it, subscribe to our page, our channel, share it with your friends, let everybody know. If you're watching on Facebook, share it. Let everybody know. This Wednesday evening, my doctor, my personal PCP, will be coming on the show to talk to us about COVID-19 in the Black community. And I want all of you to come on, especially on the YouTube channel, and ask your questions. A lot of people, for whatever reason, at some point, actually, even I thought maybe in the very beginning that Black folks wasn't getting this. Well, Black folks are getting this. So we need to just talk about it from a doctor, a medical physician, a medical professional. Not to say that she knows everything, because she doesn't work for the CDC, but I'm sure she's probably more informed than I am. And then I believe on this coming Saturday, dun, 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 thank you to Therese and her friend Bree.
Bree Coleman.
Excuse me?
Bree Coleman, yes.
Yes, Bree Coleman. Thank you very much. We believe the actor, the smoldering Leon. will be on the show. Now, that's my real, I mean, I have two questions for him, but my real question is, how do you just smolder? Like, because he smolders, like he just, it's almost like that movie Jumanji where The Rock has that thing where he smolders. Oh, but Leon has that smolder thing. I'm just saying. So anyway, so Debbie says in the church world, I watched women submit to the anger and shortcomings of an ignorant husband who preached the gospel, beat their wives and children, and then go to the pulpit like they were anointed. Yes, Therese, some churches are strict. I've been asked to sit in the back of a church for wearing pants. Pastors sleep with their members all the time. And that's a goddamn shame.
Tell us how you really feel, Jay.
That part wasn't you, Debbie. That was me. That's a shame. And nobody better not talk to me about using the Lord's name in vain when people are using his house in vain, his name in vain by seducing young people, whether it be boys, girls, women, or men.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't use your title and your power to take advantage of people. It's disgusting. And then these are the loudest people about pointing fingers and talking about who else is going to hell. Well, you're leading the way, son of a. Okay, all right, my bad. Right?
Wow.
Debbie just took me there, Rez. But you know she's right, and that's wrong. You don't do that.
Yeah, that's what we call the contradiction. The big, you heard of the benediction? Well, that's the contradiction in some churches, and the role of women in some churches are is second class for sure, and it just doesn't speak to my spirit, it doesn't speak to my understanding, and doesn't speak to the God of my understanding, it just you got to be careful. You got to be careful about what you subscribe to, where you choose to open your heart and or your pocketbook. You just have to be careful with it all, because man is behind a lot of it, and unfortunately, we always tend to fall short. Man always tends to fall short. So with that being said, my grandmother always spoke to something called the God voice, which is, another way of saying intuition. Go any place with your intuition, and intact, and hopefully, you'll be guided by that, and prayer works, it absolutely does work. But I get it, Deb. Yep, I get it. Heard it, get it. I've watched some people on a pulpit misuse or misrepresent their power, and it just yeah, you're right, the Bible does say come as you are, but we man can cherry pick what they need to do, what they need. They pick pieces and things that they choose to pay attention to. The Bible says a lot of things that were relevant for that time.
They cherry pick it and then they misrepresent it. Not only they misrepresent it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I'm gonna say this because I never want to have on the show, so I'm good with it. So I just want to talk about Kim Burrell for a second. I have to. And I know this is Easter. This has nothing to do with her. This has nothing to do with any of that, except that I started off talking about hope and how for me, the story of the resurrection of Christ is a story of hope, love, unconditional love, right? And how can you be in a church full of men, women, and children and scream about how somebody puts a penis in their mouth.
Oh, yeah.
A man putting a penis in your face. I mean, who are you? Why didn't anybody drag her off the goddamn pulpit? That's disgusting. Why are you saying that in front of children? Who are you? And where's the hope? Where's the love? Where's the uplifting? Where's the anointing in that? What are you trying to do? Who are you healing? What is your goal? Where's the Spirit of God in that? I mean, who are you drawing to the church as opposed to pushing out? Do they not think that if they're right and they have to face God at the end of the day when the sun sets, do they not think God's going to say, "Why did you run my children out of my house?" Do that? What was the? Here's exhibit A. Do you know how many people you offended while you were standing up there? Do you know what you did to the children sitting in that church in my house? You take your personal shit. God's gonna say just like that. Your personal shit in my house, representing me. Woo, better hope there ain't no hell. Woo. I got the handbag though. All right, I'm sorry, my bad. I know I rant and then I'm like, okay, Therese, go ahead.
Like I said, some people get their presence confused with the main event. But happy Easter, happy Passover, The idea is to respect each other as we would want to be respected. And, I certainly can tell people happy Easter, happy Passover, happy anything that puts your spirit in alignment.
Exactly. And, I just obviously I'm strong in my beliefs, in my opinion. So I don't mean to be offensive, but my spirit gets offended when there are people in positions of power who utilize that power to harm others. Reverend Jerry Lee Mitchell, or Jerry Mitchell Lee, sorry, says, good evening. Women have held the most powerful positions in the Bible without being named. There are still some contradictory pulpits. And yes, that is absolutely the truth. That is absolutely the truth.
Hi, Reverend Jerry.
Hey, Reverend Jerry Lee. So yeah, let's play some music because that's what I promised the people. And whenever I see you, Rez, I just want to talk your head off.
I'm fine by it.
Because I just want to know your opinion, and I have so much to say.
I love it.
I can't help it. I gotta keep it real with you, sis. That's what it is. That's what it is. Terry No Pants.
Jesus, just to mention your name, Jesus, every knee shall bow, Jesus, the tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Jesus, just to mention your name, Jesus, every knee shall bow, Jesus, the tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Without your love, I see there would be no me. Without your grace, I see there would be no love. Oh no. Without your mercy, Jesus, just to mention your name. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Jesus, the tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Jesus, mention your name. Jesus, we shall bow. Jesus, heaven fall down as we bless your holy name. Without your love, I see there would be no me. Without your grace, I know there would be no love. Your mercy's Lord. No words, no words. There would be no life, no love, no me, no you. Yeah, Father, Jesus, oh Jesus. The tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Oh, Jesus, yeah. Every knee shall bow, Jesus. The tears fall down as we bless your holy name. So let the tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Just to mention your name, every knee shall bow to Jesus. Oh, let the tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Just to mention your name, Jesus, every knee shall bow. So let the tears fall down. I can't keep the tears from falling down. Just to mention you, every knee shall bow. So let the tears fall down as we bless your holy name. Now just to mention your name, Jesus, every knee shall bow down. Before my day starts, I'm in need of your power. I'm lost without it. And I just wanna say you're always on my mind. Yeah, you're right there. You love me so good, I can't get enough. And when you're gone, I'm missing your touch. No one else can compare to you. That's why all I wanna do, all I really wanna do is spend some more time with you. Spend some more time with you. All I really wanna do is spend some more time with you. More time in your presence, Lord. All I really wanna do is spend some more time. I just wanna spend time with you. More time. All I really wanna do is spend some more time with you. More time in your presence, Lord. You see, my world stops spinning when you're silent. I'm lost without you. Yeah. And there's no way that I can make pretend. You know I need you. Your word is a light to a dark night. Your presence is peace to a troubled mind. And I can have joy in the midst of my storm, just as long as I'm in your arms. All I really wanna do is spend some more time with you. I just wanna spend some more time. All I really wanna do is spend some more time. all that it would take. Lord, your power and your presence is right here when I pray. I can turn it over to you. I just want more. I just want more time with you. All I really wanna do is spend some more time with you. Spend some more time with you. On my job, in my car, in my house, at my school. More love, more joy, more peace, more self-control. Lord, I need more of you. Do is spend some more time with you. More time with you. All I really wanna do is spend some more time with you. Oh Lord, oh Lord, I need you. I want more time with you. You, Lord, nobody else would do. But
You're listening to WJBR Internet Radio Sunday Evening Shout. Gospel music in the basement with Javon and Therese. And that was Denitra Moore. Yes, and she was on the show not too long ago.
Yes, yes.
Not on this version of the show. I feel like everybody who's been on the show in the past, no disrespect, have not been on this show. I feel like now that we're this is like a different show to me. I don't know. Do you feel that way too, or is it just me?
I know, I do. I feel like this is a new show, but the same goodness, the same.
Oh, she said the same goodness.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying, though.
Right. I don't know. So let me ask you this, Rez. What was Easter like when you were a kid?
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go back.
Yes,
a frozen moment, which is and I say frozen moment because it was captured on film, which is picture still. And I remember my mom used to get us. I have two other siblings, and my mom used to get us dressed for Easter. Now I have to, believe it or not, I was raised between New York and the South. So the South being very, very religious in Tennessee, and then there was a thing where you go down south for the summers because back then your mother had to continue working, your parents had to work, so she'd always put us on the plane, and we'd go there, and that's where we had Bible study and all the rest of that stuff, and I don't remember any of it. But I say that to say, I used to like getting dressed for Easter. That was the one time. I wasn't a frilly little girl. I liked what I liked, but I remember having the roughest time getting dressed and staying, dressed after my, you get your hair done and all of that. It's like a big production Easter, your patent leather shoes and your tights and sometimes your little ruffled socks and the little was it Kremlin? I forget the material, but the little dresses they put you in.
Yeah.
And we all went to, I just remember that was the day that mom, dad, everybody went to church together. We represented as a family. So it was interesting. I don't remember much about religion as I did about the Easter bunny and Easter egg hops and what is it? Finding eggs and different things, and make colored eggs and the baskets and little nasty candies, but I did like the jelly beans. I did
Yes,
like the things, you know.
yes.
And she did teach us, fundamentally some of the principles of Easter and Christ and things like that. And then you grow up and you take on your own interpretation. It's like quite like when children are born, how the first 3 months they have your mom's immune system, and then when you shed it, it could be that way for religion too. First 3 months any child is born, you're born with the mother's immune system until you do something called seroconversion and you get your own, and go forward. And I kind of seroconverted religion a bit, a little later in life, but it is what it is.
I feel you. I feel you. So, yeah, that Easter sounds like we could have hung out at the
Hmm.
same Easter place.
Mhm, mhm,
I could see that.
mm.
Let me see. We got booted off of some place, which of course was Facebook. But
Mm.
before we did, what happened before we did? Fee Simpson said that, oh, she's talking about Denitra, that
Yeah,
she was on Sunday's Best. Yes, she
yes,
was.
she was.
And Debbie says that she's just laying here listening to the music, thinking, my son, who's a senior in high school, won't have prom or graduate. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that, Debbie.
Mm.
I'm so sorry for that, but the great thing is that he will graduate.
Yeah.
Um, the great thing is that you can make a memory now and you can make a memory later when all of this goes away. Um the best thing about this is that Corona can't do nothing about the pride that you have for him, the love
Mm.
you have for him.
Ooh, I can't
And
believe you're a senior. Ooh, I'm sitting here
what
thinking, I'm sitting here thinking, whoa, a senior in high school, Debbie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead, Jay. You were getting ready to tell her. You were getting ready to tell her a word. Go ahead, speak a word, Jay. Speak a
No,
word.
I'm just saying, the things that we're accustomed to, the way we're accustomed to celebrating. Even I spoke about at the beginning of the show, we're not able to, you know, bury our loved ones right now the way we're accustomed to. This thing is devastating. And as far as I'm concerned, well, let me not go there. Jesus. I was getting ready to talk about the manufacturing, the government, and all that stuff, but I'm
Mm.
not going to go there. The the point of the matter is that can't nothing interfere with your love. And that's the thing. Like, my father swore he was at my high school graduation. I do not remember him being there. I know my mother. I think my grandmother, my mother. Well, I know my mother was there. I think my grandmother was there. I don't recall seeing her, but I do recall the pictures. And knowing my grandmother, she would punch my mother in the face and tell her she ain't going if it was only one ticket. That my grandmother be the one to go, because that's how my grandmother runs stuff. You know. But can I tell you?
Grandma, shout out to grandma.
Yeah, shout out to grandma. She got on me today for putting her picture up and telling everybody she's 99. Yes, she's 99 and I'm proud. But you don't be telling my age. I'm like, then she started talking about something when she was 71 and she was with this 60-year-old man, a younger man. I'm like, oh God, grandma, do I really need to know? Lord. Anyway,
It's kind of fly. She's a
yeah,
fly grandma.
yeah, she's a fly girl. But anyway, I say all this to say, the memory, the thing that I do really carry with me from my high school graduation at this late date is that I made my family very proud.
Mm.
They were all proud of me. And that's the thing, that I keep with me. I mean, and again, that's just me. It's just my opinion. It's just how I deal with things. But I love is love. We just gotta love on them.
Yeah, yeah. Tradition. She said something about we dressed up as a family tradition. We always went to Coney Island. We were able to get beef patties and cocoa bread for $2.50. Whoa, that was a minute ago.
Who said that?
Deb, yes. It's so funny about the tradition. Our traditions, or maybe even life as we know it, is going to force us to take a look at some things. And I'm not going to say doom because, one thing, that we always manage to do is get through it. It won't be like it was, before. I don't know if it's supposed to be. It has us examining a lot of things, and the illusion of safety, the illusion of health, just the illusion of security for that matter. But, and to stay in prayer, and it also teaches us about our temples and how tremendously fragile they can be, and what we need to do to keep our temples together, and maybe some things we need not do that we were doing before as well, but now more than anything, it's a beautiful time for assessment. And I'm just hoping that when all this is behind us, that we'll be at a better space. But boy, 2020 has come in with just a stench that I can't even describe, from January, February, right on up. And, we've just been in a space, that, now more than ever, we need each other. We do. We need each other the right way. We need each other mentally, physically, spiritually healthy, and just want to send prayers to everyone that is struggling with COVID-19, everyone who has lost somebody to COVID-19, and people who are caring for people with COVID-19. And I just can't say any plainer than that.
I agree. And wow, I lost the whole thing there, but that was just for a moment because I'm gonna play your song, Rez, that you are. Look at you smiling. I love it. I love to make you smile. Look at that. Look at you.
You do that so often, though.
I would pinch your cheek if I could just reach through this computer. I swear to goodness. You the bomb, man. Shout out to you, Rezzy. Shout out to Rez. Okay, to Rez.
Oh, thank you.
This is for you, sweetie.
People, we've got to come together because we need the strength, the power, and all of the feeling.
got to come together. Because we need the strength, the power, and all of the feeling. While we hold we can conquer things forever. Yes, we can. Jesus left a long time ago, said he would return. He left us a book to believe. Oh, yes, he did. Holy, holy, holy. You know that we cannot rock the world's foundation. Holy, 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 Jesus left, and he said that he would return. But he left that book for us to believe in, and in it we shall get a lot to learn. Oh, Holy Ghost. We can conquer this thing called hate forever, yeah. Holy, holy, holy,
Ain't no voice like the Queen of Soul.
empty hands and to deserve to understand God's holy word. Speak with tongues and give interpretations to prophesy with edification. In the midst of the people, moving me like Shekinah glory. Open blinded eyes to give the mind to move the mountain, to move every mountain, and that ground. Move in the midst of God's people. Move in me, Lord. Move in me, Lord, like Shekinah. With your power of the Holy Ghost, the Holy Ghost, the power of the Holy Ghost, of the Holy Ghost, with the power of the Holy Ghost, just like the day of Pentecost, I want to be. Endow me, Jesus, Lord. Endow me, Lord. I need you to endow me. I need to feel your spirit, so I can walk right, so I can talk right, I can live right, Lord. Fill me with your spirit, Lord. I need you, Jesus. I need you, Lord. I need you.
I need you to endow me. To endow me. I need you to endow me. To endow me. To endow me. To endow me. Yeah. The Holy Ghost will make you live right. Yes, it will. The Holy Ghost will make you talk right. Make you love your enemy. Even when they hate on you. Say to the mountain, be removed. I need you, Lord. Holy Ghost. Lord, I need you. I need your spirit, Lord. Holy Ghost. I need to feel you. I wanna feel you in my hand. I wanna feel you in my feet. I wanna feel it in my feet.
You're listening.
You listening to WJBR Radio Brunch in the Basement with Javon and Therese.
To WJB. With that, I'm back. You're back. And we're both black. Look at that. So, yeah. Resurrection. Rebirth. Laying down and getting back up. Isn't that the story of perseverance beyond the hope that I like to take it as? It's a great way for us to move forward with that hope, knowing that, I mean, this is just, again, my opinion. It's just my belief, and my personal interpretation of the resurrection is that, there's something more. There's something more. And you don't have to believe any particular thing for there to be something more for you.
Right.
You don't have to believe the way I believe. And you don't have to subscribe to any particular religion. But hope is a merciful gift that if you don't feel like you've been blessed with it, then you should bless yourself with it, in my opinion. Bless yourself with the gift of hope, even through this time of crisis, even when you can't see a light at the end of the tunnel. They say God makes a way out of no way. And if you've not seen, or if you don't believe in God per se, but you're just hanging out because you like me and Rez, or you're just hanging out because you like the sound of gospel music, but you don't necessarily subscribe to the music, whatever the issue is, I'm going to assume that most of you listening to the sound of my voice are grown folk. And if you have lived long enough, you have been through something.
Mm.
And you may not have known at some point how you were going to get through that thing.
Talk about it.
And you got through. The light at the end of the tunnel, the way out of no way. In some kind of way, you had to have had hope to hang in there until you got through that thing. Whether you prayed through it, cried through it, talk to God, talk to the ancestors, talk to yourself, talk to a friend who some may say was sent by God.
Amen.
Okay? Who's to say that your friend is not an angel?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I believe that. I mean, but that's just me. I was thinking about this poem today, Rez. Um, that it's a Maya Angelou poem that really is me. It's just me.
Which one?
Um, what's it called? I can't remember the name of it. Isn't that funny? It's called A Duet Where We Belong. It's really a love poem, but that's really weird. But I'm not gonna recite the entire poem, just parts of it.
Okay.
And I don't know if it has anything to do with Resurrection Sunday at all, but it's just coming to my heart.
It's on your spirit.
It's on my spirit, and therefore, hence, I will share it. It goes in every town and village. Now, okay, let me just break this down. The reason why I read this poem first when I was younger, a lot younger. So, in every town and village, and at the time I used to hang out in the village, right? So I was like, oh, she's talking to me. I'm always looking for signs and things, right? In every town and village, in every city square. Where did I hang out? Washington Square Park at the time, right?
Okay.
All right. In every town and village, in every city square, in crowded places, I searched the faces, hoping to find someone who cared. I read mysterious meanings in the distant stars, which I was all up into astrology at the time,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
I went to schoolrooms. That's when I was going to NYU,
Mm.
pool rooms, and half lighted cocktail bars,
Oh.
braving dangers, going with strangers. I don't even remember their names, child. I can't remember none of their names, to be honest.
What you say?
Even their faces are a bit of a blur. But
What you say?
I was always easy. No, wait. I was quick and breezy and always easy playing romantic games. Why am I reciting this poem right now? I have no. You're supposed to stop me, right?
No, no. Go ahead. This is gonna land somewhere. I'm gonna be here for it.
It don't seem like it's landing in the Resurrection Sunday direction, you know. And while I think of this poem, maybe it's supposed to bless somebody else. Anyway, red mysterious when schools, pool rooms, and half-lighted cocktail bars, braving dangers, going with strangers. I don't even remember their names. It's quick and breezy, always easy playing romantic games. I fell in love forever, twice every year or so. Um, but they always let me go, saying, "Bye now, no need to cry now. You don't have the proper charms. Too sentimental and much too gentle. I don't tremble in your arms." Then you rose into my life like a promised sunrise, brightening my days with the light in your eyes. Okay, I think the reason why the poem might have hit me
Why?
is because of the hope in
Okay.
the poem.
Okay.
Braving dangers, going with strangers. Why would you do that if you're not looking in the faces for someone to care, hoping,
That
and
is
going
it.
through all that damn drama, having fun, by the way. I had a lot of fun. But then by the end of the poem, she finds love.
Mm. Okay.
So I think that poem has stayed with me, and I think there's another verse in there that I can't remember. I mean, come on, what am I, a poet? But yeah, there's hope not only in living day to day, not only in surviving this terrible thing, or somehow maybe we can get past this thing and Debbie's son can walk across the stage and receive his diploma. That hope, we're human,
Mm-hmm.
we are fallible, but we are hopeful and we are resilient, because even if that young man does not walk across the stage, he will still be degreed. he will still be loved, and we will still hope for his future, that it's bright, that it's healthy,
Yeah.
that it is successful in whatever way he deems success to be,
Yes.
and that he knows how much his mother loves him.
That I'm sure.
Can I get an amen?
Amen. Ashe.
And so it is. Can the choir say? I'm just saying. And Debbie Turner, you are absolutely right, because the poem was about feeling lost.
Hmm.
And this, I didn't put that together, but you're right. You're right. This is a time where a lot of people are feeling lost. People are losing loved ones, and you first of all, even in normal times, you lose a loved one and you feel lost. Like,
Mhm.
what do I do? Where do I go?
Right.
First of all, we have to figure out how to set up the funeral, and how to, I could call my friend who recently buried their loved one and they can help me, and I could people have not dealt with this kind of thing before.
No. The idea that people are in hospitals or nursing homes and passing away without, you know, um, their loved ones either beside them or in some sort of prayer with them physically, just that in and of itself is just unbelievable, and the grief that death brings as a whole, depending on, and again, that depends, of course, on what you believe, because sometimes people see death as a ceremony, So I want to rule that out for anybody that is of the Native American. There are traditions and rituals that usher a person into transition.
Right, right.
So, but the idea of doing it alone, because I just don't think the human condition was to be by yourself.
Right.
So given that, just the idea of transitioning, and people not be able to celebrate and memorialize you. Now, memorialize, yes, they can do that after the fact, but it's difficult, particularly for people's mothers and fathers and matriarchs and patriarchs. They all. It's very, very disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in my militant side, I'm just going to digress for a moment as I say this very carefully.
Let it rip.
Yeah, because it's like I go through personally bouts of sadness and anger, and then and of course my wife is a one woman um, ball of joy, and she will flip that into laughter and in her own unorthodox way, checking on folks and doing what she does and making people laugh and keeping people lifted. But in the anger, of course my brain starts to work, and with all of that, what we've experienced, as I see things, I don't know how true or not they are, but what I will say is that if you watch something coming, like, I liken it to being at the bottom of a hill in the winter and seeing a snowball rolling, a snowbank rolling in your direction. Your natural instinct is to move the hell out the way. Your
Amen.
natural instinct is, if you can't stop the snowball, you move anything and everything you love out of the way. All right. So that being said, if this government had any indication, as they did, that this was coming this way after watching, because we've got intelligence that can see a gnat piss on a cotton ball from 90 yards under the earth. So you mean to tell me, granted, I get all the conspiracy theories, but at the end of the day, in a very fundamental way, I believe that there should be some kind of class action suit against the government for failure to safeguard the American citizens, for this monstrosity that you did not protect us from, or you started, whichever one. But either way, it's unbelievable what people have allowed to happen, and it also makes us very vulnerable to things like this. And yeah, we got all the footage of people talking about it, and from Obama to Bill Gates to whoever else, talking about it coming, and to set us up for or not guard us is. Has anybody ever done that? Do you know that anybody's ever done a class action suit nationwide against its government? Because this is ridiculous at this point, and it's been ridiculous. There was someone there was something going around saying that the CDC was advertising, soliciting resumes from people who have done this kind of quarantine. Like there's so many signs that said that you knew this was coming, and you either deliberately took things out of you deliberately took things apart that could have helped. And I'm not going to say eradicate, because when you want something to happen, you just set it in motion. These plans are not immediate. These plans have been in the history for a very long time, but it's just like this has happened before. It had happened with the swine flu. It happened with the Spanish flu. You always name it and claim it. Now you're so concerned why African Americans are dying at alarming rates.
That's a diversion.
Yeah, it is all a diversion, quite frankly. And I get it. Pre-existing illnesses. I get all of that. I get it all. But the reality is, it's still here, and we had to have something to kick things in motion. So let's not confuse who would, all of that with the fact that it's still here on your watch, sir, and your whole entire cabinet. You've tremendously failed us all. First of all, you're an embarrassment to anybody that has a brain cell, but this happened on your watch, and this will go down in your history, in your legacy here as a fake ass president. This is going to go down in your watch, and it's not okay. This level of trauma is not okay for the American people. So if we don't do our best to get him the hell out of here and sit him all the way down, so nobody connected to him or remotely knows him gets elected, I don't know what else to think.
Yeah. And this is, again, when I talk about my own accountability, not understanding the power and the importance of the Senate in this country, the Senate and the House of Representatives.
They don't represent me.
Well, let me just say this. They tried to impeach him, and the Senate, led by Mr. McConnell, didn't carry it through. They voted to leave him there. They did that intentionally. They did that intentionally. They set up the Supreme Court. All of this stuff happened. People were not taken to the streets. All right. So clearly I've voted Democrat, but that's not what this is about. This is bigger than that. Democrat. But the Republicans, I have to say it like this. Ever since this dude got in office, I've been paying attention, very close attention. And it's been a setup. You've been seeing that something was coming, something big was coming. And here's the Democrats trying to make sure it didn't happen, trying to make sure, trying to warn us, trying to get rid of him. but the way and the way the system is set up, the House sends the articles of impeachment to the Senate. It's always been that way. It's all, and that's the way our government is set up.
Yeah, I just believe it's all a crock of shit, to be honest. Democrats, Republicans, independents, it's just, they all act as if, like, how much of this virus, how much does any of this stuff that affects us all, you know what, let me say something.
Democrats and Republicans are dying.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this is what I saw. Okay, now check this out. Stimulus packages around the world. In the UK, 80% of the workers get their salary. They get 80% of their salary in the UK. In Denmark, they get 75% of their salaries. In South Korea, they're getting 70% of their salaries. In the Netherlands, they're getting 90% of their salaries during this whole COVID thing. This is the percentage of their salaries that people are getting, okay? In Canada, they're getting $2,000 a month. That's $2,000 a month. In Australia, the government is giving them $1,000 a month. And the United States of America is talking some bull crap about $1,200 one time that may take months to arrive. Now, again, and I'm gonna say this is simple math, and we're not even thinking, but we're just being like, this is, in my opinion, his war that he wanted. He couldn't start the war, but what he did was he started spiritual warfare, or he started this crap, germicide against the people. But at the end of the day, it's like, you got trillions of dollars, and if you counted the number of American people, every household could get at least $350,000 to $400,000 with $1 trillion. Every household could get at least $350,000. So do the math. You can Google this. Google how many people in the United States, and then divide that by $1 trillion and see what the number that you get. And let's just say $100,000 for every citizen would still leave him money left over. But what they're electing to do is give you $1,200 for all the death and destruction and everything else, unemployment, everything else, and telling you, hang out for a vaccine that may.
And everybody's not going to even see that $1,200. Who needs it?
No.
So
I don't even think it's going to come, to be honest with you. I think this is more crock of shit that he's, This is. I know I'm not eligible for it.
No, and neither am I. And I'm not even thinking, and therefore, I mean, I'm thinking about it for the people who need it. And I got some people that need it. But this is life and death. This is bigger than, to me, this is one thing that you said that I'm 100% in agreement with, but I've been worried about this for years, for the last couple of years. Not now because of this. I'm like, oh, this is how he's going about it. This is what I've been expecting something. I just didn't know what exactly it was. I thought it was going to be a bomb dropped on America by Russia or something like that. This dude is a Russian plant. It's been so obvious, and oh God, it's just been so obvious. This dude don't care nothing about Americans. This is not, no. And Mitch McConnell who's the head of the Senate. He is in line. He's also on the paycheck of the Russians. Now, this is the thing, right? I'm sorry, and I know it sounds like another conspiracy theory, but I've been following this thing from day one, right? And Okay, so we all know that the United States and Russia have always been historically at war and blah blah blah, right?
Right.
So the one thing that Russia has always wanted, because ever since Reagan, they wanted to get back in power where they would be like the equal to America in terms of the power. Like you got the Soviet Union, you got America, right? Two equal powers just on the separate sides of the fence, right?
Mm-hmm.
America has gotten here while Russia has been sanctioned and brought down and blah blah blah. What their big hope was always to make America weak again. I'm telling you, if
Well, who says like wait, let me all right.
all right, so
Mm-hmm.
let me just finish my little thing here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just finish my little thing here because recently Putin made this big video about how other countries in the world, how the world can no longer look to America as the leader, especially during this crisis that's going on around the world. America is not handling this right. So Putin is the one saying, "Oh, but this is supposed to be this dude's friend, right?" No, this has been, I'm telling you, it's just so much drama. Now, we know that the NRA funded the Republicans like forever, which is why they are down with the gun lobbyists, blah, 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 right? The NRA, which we found out over the last couple of years, very clearly, a bunch of evidence came out that the NRA is funded by Russia in a large part. And that money has been funding a bunch of these Republicans' campaigns and blah, blah, blah. And they all got money in it. As a matter of fact, recently, Kentucky, Mitch McConnell's state, got a big sum of money, like millions and millions of dollars from the Russians. It's just freaking craziness. It's just been insanity. And I've been sitting back watching this and I'm like, what in the hell?
Hmm.
And there's no way that any Democrat could have done half the stuff that this dude has done and not been impeached and freaking removed. I don't care if it was Obama, Clinton. Look, Clinton got a blowjob and they were ready to kill him, right? I get that. I get all of that. But this warfare, and I can't possibly know why they but this is a war. This is a war. When people are dying like this is war. This is nothing but war. The question is, to what end? Getting $1,200. Some people may get it. A lot of people won't get it. Will the businesses actually get their money? The duty-free loans and stuff like that.
I'd like anybody that has a small business, if you listen to this show, to please call in. That anybody who has a small business that has been awarded money, please call the show.
And what Debbie is saying, plus a vaccine with a chip under the skin, I would not be surprised.
Well, you know, they're already doing the face recognition in China. And that is the way. And also there are those who believe, as I do, that they are going to be changing the American currency and the way we do money here. There'll be no more paper money. So what Debbie is saying in that chip is already, you know, well, in China, they have facial recognition, which is what they started in a lot of the electronics that you get now. You know, eventually, like, you know, when they upgrade equipment and then your old equipment starts to fail.
Yeah.
They're going to have that. They have the face recognition on phones. They have it on computers already. Right now, they have it as an elective. You can use it or not. And then eventually, you're not going to be able to elect to use it. You're going to be using it. In China, they're using it to, you know, they know everything about you. In this recognition, they can put all kinds of information in the computer. When you go to stores, you're going to pay for things with your face without having to open your pocket at all. It's already being done. You could Google that. It's being done in China as we speak. They have a scan on their phone that they're purchasing things with. They're not, I mean, it's rare if you find someone using actual paper money in China. So that is a very fast economy, there, and we are behind. And as an American, we sit here and we get piped in all of this information, propaganda, because I don't, if you spend any time watching anything outside of American television or American communications, you will find that the world is a lot more advanced than they'd like you to believe it is, because there's this arrogance that comes with being American too now.
Absolutely.
We're the biggest and the best, and by far we're not the best. Our kids and systems are failing us in the areas of science, health, and you name it. We're behind. France is far superior than America in health studies and math and science. Japan is way, past Americans. And, I guess it makes us feel good to feel like that, but our school systems over here, quite frankly, are fucked. And we've been fucked for a very long time. Let's just be clear. Education is not a priority of this country as it should be, because it should be free and all of the kids should be attending college, period. Shouldn't have a great bulk of college students in debt. You shouldn't have it. You should be paying teachers and professors what they're worth, because if they're planting the seed in the soil to be able to go into industries, don't get me started, but it's like, so backwards that, and shout out to all the athletes, but it's so backwards that an athlete can make millions and millions of dollars. And I don't say they don't deserve it. What I'm saying is that athletes, teachers, you know what I mean? And then you wonder why we're screwed, because we just don't, like these kids right now are struggling to get computers to go home and do work. What do you think that manifests to later on down the line? And then there's what you're being taught, it's just a filtered, filthy way of educating. And right now, the best thing about the kids being home is the fact that the parents can step in and step up, or the caretakers can step in and step up and do some educating for real, like stuff that they're going to, our kids are going to need, like how to do financing and what is credit and what is all those things that make it necessary for you to survive in this country. I can go on, but right now, you need to find a financial advisor, somebody that makes money friendly, or the understanding of currency and credit and all those things that they judge us on that really hold us back from doing good business. And the idea that, kids should be starting businesses, figuring it out and starting a business and being given the same opportunities and access to things like loans or things like funding. I can go on and on. But instead of teaching us about Columbus, teach us how to start a business, because that's what we're going to need in a minute. We need that now. It's overdue. And the curriculum as it sits has failed us tremendously, and it's absolutely culturally biased. So, and not to sound like Debbie Downer, because I can go on. I'm just choosing my tone, because usually it's a lot, the decibels are a lot higher right now when I go through my rant.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. You were family, and everybody who's watching agrees with you. Keith says, I so agree, Therese. And Sonia says, speak on it, Therese. My parents have lost their siblings during this pandemic. Yes, get him out of office. I agree with that 100%. Debbie is saying a lot. They already are having problems filling out the applications.
Mm-hmm.
They said you will have to buy food. You will have to have it to buy food.
Mm-hmm.
A new way to watch.
Mm-hmm.
She also said that this is a spiritual warfare. Believe that the horse of death is riding the earth now. It is in the Bible. That's deep, and it's true. But let me tell you. I think I had mentioned to you before. There's a book called "The Pedagogy of the Oppressed." That means the education of the oppressed. They do not want the oppressed to be educated because
Hmm.
in a capitalist society, you need a lower class. They
Yes.
call it classism, but they need a lower class to do the manual labor work. The people of power, and you know who I'm talking about in this country, do not want people. Look, what's going on? What happened? What happened in 2016? Was it 20? Yeah, the 2016, no, 2017 election where we flipped the House of Representatives blue.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
They saw that and they was like, okay, go to plan A. Okay?
Mm.
Because that's the power. Now, they knew what was going on. Everybody knows that they knew what was coming. They sold their stocks. They bought stock. One dude, one of the governors, or not governor, what is he? Whatever he is, a senator, a congressman, whatever he is, he
Mm.
bought stock in PPE equipment
Mm.
right before this. Come on, son. We're not all stupid, but there are enough people who are not educated, who are stuck in the fifth grade mentality of power to my people.
Mm.
And, well, they wouldn't say it if it wasn't the truth, right? There's so many people that the oppressed who are oppressed here
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that are like, okay, don't close the church because, amen, I'm going to church and I'm going to the beach. That's right, dude, gnarly, man. We're going to the beach. You know, these people are expendable, and it doesn't matter the color of your skin. They're expendable to these people, and this is why we have to say, stay your ass home.
Mm.
You know, stop. You have to survive this. We have to survive this.
Yeah.
Because it was too many of us going to the damn polls and flipping stuff. And they even said if everybody votes, the Republicans will never get back in. People really think it's really simplistic, is as shady and as backdoor as it is. It's really simple. The powerful want to stay in power. And let's just say it started in where? Alabama, where the black women went and flipped their right.
Yep.
Showed their power. What if, just imagine if black people, black women said,
Mm.
wait a minute, we got together and we turned this red state blue?
Mm.
What do you think if we went to our next door state and that next door state and the state above us and the state below us and got the black women together and rallied there? What could we do? Let's just say we branched it out and got everybody on board. And we got our men on board too. And not just black, but brown people. Let's just say we went to the reservations and got our Native American brothers and sisters.
Hmm.
Right? Let's just say we even stretched out to Puerto Rico. Let's just say we got our brothers and sisters living in the Caribbean. We got us all together. And we all rallied. What do you think might happen?
Well.
The moment that
I know what will happen.
Oh, I know too. But the moment that red state turned blue, they knew what would happen. And they took advantage of the window of opportunity to say, wait a minute, hold up. Now, we still got the power. We got the power right now. This happened. There's so much to this, but it sounds crazy, but it's crazy enough that it's true. Okay? This was planned out, and somebody some young woman wants to sue for crimes against humanity, and I agree with that. She's in public office. It's on my Facebook page. Can't think of her name right now. Young black woman. And she says she's seen enough to know what this is. And these are crimes against humanity. and it's in a big way. And it's all for one reason in this country, and that's to keep the power powerful, the
You
power
said,
power.
you said she's in office somewhere?
Yeah, yeah. It's on my Facebook page.
Okay, I gotta find out who this is because she's on to something. Crimes against humanity. You know, there's a if you fail to safeguard a child, um,
Yeah,
that's a crime. You
yeah,
know, that's a crime, right? So
absolutely.
how do we have this many people, and with someone with the elected uh, position of having to safeguard America, someone who, obviously can deploy military and all those things when it comes down to foreign affairs, but yet on your own soil, you're vulnerable to this kind of stuff.
This
I just,
Look, you know what? I I want to resonate in that and go over the ifs, ands, and whys. But where I am right now, honestly, Rez, I've been watching this and seeing the ifs, ands, and whys for the last 3 years, just watching that damn Rachel Maddow. She been
hmm,
if you really want, go archive in her archives.
hmm.
Look at every damn show from the time that that boy got into my
You said that, boy.
that is not a man. That is not a man.
You're right.
That is not a man. See how he treats his woman? You see how he treats his women, his children, people?
There's this Netflix. We're all home watching anything, and each other. But I watched something called Dirty Money on Netflix, and it talks about Jared Kushner in there. And being a New Yorker, um, I would like to have people watch that because it's a series and it's in pieces. And when you get to the part about Jared Kushner, he's married to Trump's daughter, and he's a landlord here, or should I say slumlord here in the city, and ain't much changed. And he has probably one of the most vacant expressions. Like, you look in his eyes and he feels kind of soulless when you look at him because he's interesting. He's interesting to watch on screen. But when you see this documentary, now it's called Dirty Money. If you haven't watched it, watch it, because it's basically and it doesn't matter how much information you put in people's face. Sometimes, like everybody has their own belief system. You may not believe it, but this was a well done documentary about what they really feel. And one thing that stood out to me is how, we all know that he's running this country like a business, and his business acumen is shoddy, to say the very least about it.
Everything he touches fails.
Right, basically.
And he's
So,
cruel.
and Jared referred to the American people as consumers. Now, if that don't shed light on the entire situation, nothing will. Nothing will. He sees us as people to purchase or people to do a service, but the idea, the understanding is, what are you selling us? If that's the case, I would love to just have an open letter to Mr. Kushner and ask him, well, what are you selling other than a crock of shit? Because ain't nobody buying what you selling.
He's a slumlord.
He's a slumlord. There's been a slumlord, and he's a high-priced slumlord, and not only in New York, but in Virginia and Maryland too. He's got a whole lot of property over there where he's doing some outrageous things.
And his father's a criminal. But and so, but I mean, again, I'm telling you, I've been watching. I've been studying with Professor Maddow. I'm telling you, from day one, every day something else is coming out. And she's not just, it's not like she's a news reporter. She's a teacher. She takes it back to like Nixon days, and this judge did da 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 da, and that's why the law is this, and bang, this is what happened today and how it relates back. And I'm like, oh shit. I mean, some mind-blowing stuff. Education. I'm always open to learn.
Right.
but once this thing hit the way it did, I can't watch any more of it. I can't learn any more of it. I'm done. I got it. I know who they are from watching and learning. I've watched how they manipulated and did everything, and I've watched the players who protected him and allowed him to do all the shoddy shit. I've watched it. And it's unfolded, and people tend to be in shock, like, what? No, it's been like an open book.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like this was coming. I honestly thought it was going to be a war.
But listen, don't rule that out.
Right, because guess what? Even our military is weaker than it was. Everything has been weakened. This country has been so weakened. It's like, if you were to put, if I was, let's just say I was the president of a country that despised America, and I wanted to plant somebody in the highest seat of the nation so as to destroy the country. That's what this is.
I know I've been out of the country, and when when his name comes up, people just laugh. And it's just embarrassing, from everything from his little hands to limited vocabulary to just this mockery of contradiction over and over again. And we're watching you, we're looking at you, and you're disgraceful. And in your narcissistic behaviors, you're just a poor representative of the people. And you are supposed to be that. You're supposed to be a representative of the people of the United States of America. And we have been so far ununited than any other president that we've had.
Yeah, he's torn this country apart. This is ridiculous. So
yeah, he's doing that. That's the part two. It's like, we needed to remedy some things about this country and its soil, its bloody soil that has already existed. The likes of a 45 only come in and are effective in the bloody soil because we have not, as a country, reconciled with what this country actually is. So given that, America has some bloody politics internally and externally, and they've got some bloody history that they just it's just convenient not to talk or think about it or bring it up. That's a long time ago for some, or it didn't affect me and mine. But the reality is, it affected a great deal of people that you stood on, and you're going to have to reconcile it, because with that, there are a lot of people who believe as he does, in his racist beliefs. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who works for CBS, and she was talking about the Trump rallies and saying how they strategically place people of color so that they can be seen on the camera. But when you pan the room, by and large, those are the only people of color in the room. Absolutely. The ones that are strategically placed behind him. But this is the jackass shit that they want us to believe, because image, as we know, image and projection is everything here. It doesn't matter if you're broke, you can't look the part. Doesn't matter if you're, do
you think
smoking mirrors?
Do you think that people really believe that there are Black people at these rallies?
Oh, absolutely. Because it doesn't take much to. Yes, I do.
Okay, maybe there are, but I think that those people are far and few in between who believe that there are Black people at the Trump rally saying "woo woo." I mean,
those people voted. Those are the same people that voted his ass in.
Right, but there's not
that believe this.
Right, but there's not that many of them. There's not that many Black people. There's enough of them. That's true. That's true. I agree. I know, Rez. There's some Black people that voted for his ass. I know it. And there's some Black people that's going to vote for him again. You can't stop that. You can't stop it. It's unnatural. Yeah, I was going to say it's undeniable, but it's unnatural too. people vote against their own interests and do things against their own interests all the time. But
that's how deep racism runs, because before you rather see a qualified person
of color,
of even, let's just, and it's funny, like, give me any president that does good by their people,
Right.
But the idea that you could have this institution, or this, and I say institution meaning government, but you could have this seat for this many years and nobody of color ever came across the radar for being able to sit in that seat. That's what makes it racist in and of itself. So the idea of Barack Obama was bigger than Obama was, and when you talk about a country that's supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, and equality is supposed to exist for all. We all know that's not the way it is, but the reality is you have a seat that there's never been a candidate of color that was worthy of sitting in the seat. Now, we know better than that, but the idea that America wasn't ready for it is a crock of shit. And it goes right back to our bloody roots, and we got to do better. So, and then you have people that can step into that and show up to be the face of the bloody American soil. We made it right for him. We made it right for a Trump-like character, because that's what he is a character, to come in and run a campaign and exploit the very essence of the dirty soil. And people that believe in that, make America great again. When was it ever great?
Yeah.
When was it ever great? And if you think that was great, then you've already shared what your position was about everything. I don't need to know no more about you.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Debbie says there's a lot of black people that voted and love Trump. And if y'all think Iran won't get us for Trump killing their top government man, yep. I agree with you 100%, Debbie. 100%. 100%. Yeah. 100%.
And shout out for you being the PTA president. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm proud of that, Deb.
That's outstanding, especially in an all-white school. You know what, Rez? You're absolutely right, and you're putting the pieces together beautifully. And what we need to do is get them out. You're right. So we need to make some more of those videos.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I have to go, and I will text you as to why.
Okay.
It's also been 3 hours of love, and I want to say happy Easter, happy Resurrection Sunday to everybody again.
Happy Passover.
Yeah, we're gonna broach this again. And again, everybody, please share, subscribe, and like. And this Wednesday we have Dr. Cheryl Thomas coming on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. And Rez will join us at 7:30, and the doc will be on at 7:45. And y'all know me, I'm gonna start playing music at 7. All right. Rez, I love you, and I will text you in a minute because I know it feels abrupt.
Bye, Deb.
Bye, Deb. Thanks, Keith. Everybody. Love y'all. Bye.